Hello, and welcome back to Naturally Spiritual, where we correlate the spiritual with the natural. I'm Cheryl,
And I'm Sherry.
and we're here to encourage someone. I know it looks a little different today, but we want to encourage someone to trust the process, right?
Right, exactly.
And so, for example, we're both locked. I've been locked a little longer than her. She's just what, a year,
Today makes a year and a half,
a
and,
year and a
and, and
half.
it still looks like this, and I want something different.
Okay, so here it is. To you, it
Mhm.
looks the same, but to someone who's been in this process with you and we can see your results. So here it is. Though things may not look the way you intended for them to look, doesn't mean that it's not working. So again, you just have to trust the process, because I think what you fail to realize is, you see where I am. I'm almost 5 years in,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
But if you remember, I had the same struggles that you have, that you have currently, right?
But I think you were truly dedicated to it,
Yeah,
and I can't.
and I was, and so, sister, that's where it is. You're still unsure, and
Mhm.
and that's just like, sometimes you're unsure. So when you're unsure, you're doubting,
Mhm.
and you don't have the faith, or you can't see the end result. But
Right.
don't look at the now. And I don't know who this is for. Don't look at the now, right?
Okay. Okay.
And I know in the natural it's hard to look and not see and be disappointed, but
Mhm.
you just have to trust the process, and try to trust and believe that, though you don't see the results that you see,
Mhm.
that he's still working, right?
Right.
He's working.
That's
And because one thing that I know is, our time is not his time, and his time is not ours. Look, because I'll be going on into other scripture, but I do know that what he has for you, he has for you, right?
right.
And
That
it's just at an appointed time, right?
right.
So in the natural, we can, well, this isn't going, so I'm giving up, right?
Mhm.
Because here we are in the natural, we're going back and forth. She's like, I want it out. Well,
Like today,
look,
I'm putting a
well,
hot
as
comb to
as her
it.
loctician, I'm not taking it out, right? I'm
She
not taking
acts
it out.
like she's the only one. Well,
Well,
somebody tell her, somebody call me if
okay,
you
but
can
here's the thing.
help me.
But on a serious note,
Mhm.
sometimes we have to be that help me
Right.
when someone
That's so
doesn't
true.
see the
That's true.
process, right?
Mm-hmm.
Help them along. 'Cause am I my brother or sister's keeper, right?
Right.
So you just have to help them to see the process, and help them and walk along through the process. Excuse me.
Exactly. Right. And I'm going to go ahead with that Psalms 102:13. It says, Thou shalt arise and have mercy upon Zion. For the time to favor her, yeah, the set time is come. And so, with that being said, I mean, we say daily, this natural thing and this spiritual thing are both intertwined. I
All
mean, with that being
intertwined.
said, it is intertwined. There is a process, and though we're joking, because I mean, I'm frustrated with where I am in this process, because I look at where I started, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like, as I just said,
It
a
looks
year
like
and
it's
a
going
half.
backwards.
It does look like it's going backwards. And someone, I shared this with someone on just yesterday, and so she was able to forward a TikTok video to me from a different loctician, and she says, if you started with long hair, so you know where you started, then this
Mm-hmm.
is for someone, you know where you started,
Mm-hmm.
and you know what your expectation is for the end.
Mm-hmm.
So the process may not look like what your idea of what it should have looked like is,
Mm-hmm.
or where you should be,
Right.
but that does not mean that the process is not working.
Right.
I mean,
Because and if I could jump back in there, because one thing I do know is, you can't tell my story.
right,
I have
that's
to tell
true.
my own story, and I
Mhm.
can't tell your story.
Right.
So you can look at me, or you can look at someone else's situation and go, well, they look like they have it going on. They look
Mhm.
like that.
That's
I
true.
don't see that. But you're right. You don't see them. You don't
Mhm.
see their struggles. You don't know the tears they cried. You don't know the hard sweat and
That's so true.
tears they put in. You
Right,
don't
right, right.
know what they went through. You don't know
Mhm.
their relationship with the Lord, right?
Exactly
So you
right.
just have to know him for yourself.
Mhm.
Trust him for yourself and trust the process so that when you do go through things, you know,
You won't be so quick to end the process.
you won't be
Right.
so
And it
quick to
did just
end it.
come to me, and forgive me, Lord, because once you make a commitment to do something,
Right.
and I did give myself, I said a year, so I'm actually 6 months longer than what I
Mm-hmm.
intended to be.
Mm-hmm.
However, but here I am in the process, and all jokes aside, sister is just like, I'm not taking them out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing them. And so once I started researching and saw that I didn't have the stamina to sit and take them all down myself, I'm like, well, maybe I will give it maybe another month. And she's like, another month, my foot, you in it to win it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so sometimes whatever situation you're in, you have to commit to be in it to win it, regardless. I mean, when things look a little differently, or
Right.
when some stumbling blocks come your way, or when the slightest thing comes your way, that doesn't mean you should end it. That should mean you should throw in a towel right there.
Right.
That does not mean that you should just say, I'm done with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the end of it. Goodbye.
And I'll say this too. When you're someone's keeper, am I my brother or sister's keeper?
Mhm.
So you have to trust them, you know. And if they tell you to hold on, you hold on with them, you know. And so that's good to always have that person, right?
Right. See,
And
this right brain has this left brain.
right. So it's always good to have that person that pushes you, whether it's a spouse, a sibling, a parent, whomever, you know, because when you don't see it, they see it, right?
Right, because how many times, now that you say that, before we even got to this process, how many times did my husband call you and say, hey, when you doing my wife's hair?
Right,
So,
right.
yeah. So, I mean, so it's little things like that. So you will have some reminders along the way to let you know, hey, you know, I know you may not think you are where you need to be. Right. But hold on.
Hold on.
But
Trust
hold on,
the
because
process.
let me help you remember. There was a time when. Okay, but sister, we're gonna go ahead and end it there, because y'all just don't know. She has this needle in her hand. And baby, when I tell you she is going to work, even with okay, we're gonna end it there as we always do. Go ahead and like us, y'all.
Share us, guys.
And talk to us, okay?
Leave us some comments.
All right, and this Naturally Spiritual book, go ahead and grab that for us. And those who already have, we greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate it. And if you want it, go ahead and get it, because the set time is now, all right? We just pray that you guys have an awfully, awfully, awfully blessed night.
Good night.